All right, you guys. I hope that you are having a great time and enjoying yourself with all the amazing speakers. And I have another one for you, Miss Mary Elaine Petrucci. Hope I pronounced her last name correctly, but she is a strong advocate for people who cares for others. She has a reputation for advocacy, education, and change using her mind-body techniques and hypnotherapy. She realized that there are huge groups of healthcare professionals, family caregivers, holistic practitioners, and those providing care to others who require training and coaching in mind body techniques and hypnotherapy to reduce their stress, overwhelm, and burnout when caring for others, as well as finding this work life changing when seeking a purpose filled life. She is a transformational architect, life architect. I love that, transformational life architect. And I want you to welcome Miss Mary Lane to the stage. Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, Sasha. Thank you so much for having me this morning.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. So I'm so ready to have this interview with you. And, we're going to be talking about setting and enforcing boundaries. And that is something so important for everyone, whether you're an entrepreneur in business and, even your personal family life and how it all resonates and relates together. So, first off, I want to ask you this one question. Other than what I read, who is Mary Elaine?
I'm a speech language pathologist by training, so I've worked in different healthcare settings and school systems, and I have extensive experience with marketing, sales, and program development in neuro rehabilitation, hospital, and home care companies. And I've realized that the thing that was missing in my life was really missing with my clients that I work with. And I want to use those mind body techniques and hypnosis to really bring clarity and focus to other people
Mhm.
so that they can live the life that they so desire.
Wow, that's amazing. Now, I hear a lot about hypnotherapy. We all have our own definitions or what we've seen like on movies, shows, and everything. So, what is like the work of hypnotherapy and how can it really be used for the good and benefits of those who are entrepreneurs?
That's a great question, Sasha. Hypnosis can help you in several ways. It can help you identify your limiting beliefs. It
Mhm.
can help you eliminate those negative emotions that get in our way and stop us from progressing further in our career. It really helps us take a powerful suggestion that we give ourselves to
Mhm.
really transform our lives because we're allowing our unconscious mind, which is an incredibly powerful tool, to really start unlocking those resources within ourselves so that we can achieve the goals that we so desire.
Yeah, that's amazing. Because I'm sitting here and I'm listening to you and I'm thinking, okay, well, we go through so much in life and whatever that could be for anyone, trauma related, childhood, adulthood, whatever it is, and the complexities of who we are in our consciousness and even in our brains, because there's two different things really. It's like it can't keep us at a hold, and then we sometimes wonder like why are we continuously going through certain cycles and all these things, and if we don't really identify those areas, we'll continue to go around, and there are so many methods and techniques out here. So what makes hypnotherapy even more better, or on a higher level, on a deeper level than just regular therapy, or just identifying those things that like attachment styles and things like that that would hinder us?
Great question. Hypnotherapy really allows you, and mindset techniques really allow you to start healing from the inside out.
Mhm.
And for me, that was really powerful. I had tried other modalities, and I don't disparage other modalities that people have available to them. However, I felt when I was using other modalities, I was not only working my full time job, but I was working a second job simultaneously in attempting to change my whole belief system and the way I was showing up in the world. So
Mhm.
that was not really sustainable for me. So allowing hypnosis and mindset techniques really allowed me to see specifically those limiting beliefs and negative emotions and mindset blocks that I was having so that I could make the necessary changes in my life
Mhm.
and see how I could accomplish that in a shorter amount of time, which was really amazing to me. And I see it as being so powerful in really unlocking your unconscious mind to allow it to really help you find those resources that
Mhm.
you have within yourself so that you can listen to your intuition, find out what tools that you may need uh, from another person or just where to go
Mhm.
each step of the way in your journey, professionally or personally.
That's amazing. And as your title states, you're a transformational life architect. And I know that you've been able to use these different methods and techniques in so many of your clients. And when we're talking about setting and enforcing boundaries, like how important is that as you're transforming other people's lives and what you have seen? How important is it for us as women to set and enforce boundaries?
It's really critical, Sasha, because it really, by setting and enforcing boundaries, you're really living your integrity and your values. And you're letting other people know what you stand for and what you will tolerate in a relationship or in a specific situation. So it's vitally important that people really make boundaries clear and enforceable with other people, whether it's with family, colleagues, clients. It's really important to make sure that everybody knows what you stand for and what you will tolerate in your life.
Yeah, that's really good. I've always said that to people that, I'm talking to or working with, and it's like really important because sometimes when you don't set those boundaries, and especially in your entrepreneurship journey, it's easy for us women to do everything. We want to put our hands on everything. We want to manage everything and be there for so many people. And in some cases, some of that, oh, I have to be there, could be an attachment style and that people pleasing. I know I've been there at one point in my life, and we don't have boundaries. And next thing you know, we're burnt out. We're feeling like our glass isn't full, and we have lost all capacity. And and I start to say, tell people like it's really important to do that. I had to learn it. And since I learned it, I'm like, ooh, I feel good about it. And
Mhm.
so when people who are out there watching and they are identifying what we're talking about right now, what would you say to them as far as like not really feeling bad about wanting to set boundaries?
Great question. It's really important to let people know um, what you can and will do for them under what circumstances and what consequences will be involved when you are saying yes to a request. And saying no is a complete sentence. And that's perfectly okay. If you don't have to explain yourself, you don't have to justify why you're saying no. And if people still persist in asking why you're not doing the request that they're asking, just walk away.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Just walk away.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
And I want to say, and I'm quite sure that that's where that hypnotherapy part will come in at, because sometimes people can't just do that on their own. Like it's so easy to say, oh, well, no, it's a complete sentence, just walk away. And they may try it, but in order for them to get like that full breakthrough in it, is that where you incorporate the hypnotherapy in some of your client sessions?
That it could be a component, definitely. The other thing is that setting boundaries is really a 3-step process, and you have to go through each step consistently and set your intention for each request that people make of you.
Mm,
And then you have to commit to that boundary that you're setting, and you have to do it 3 times in order for the universe and other people to understand that you really mean what you're saying.
mhm.
So the 3-step process is allows you to make a more informed decision about whether or not you can complete someone's request or not.
That's really good. And one thing that I love what you just said, and I would add on, it's like you put that 3-step process in place so others would know, but you gotta have a lot of discipline.
Yes.
And it's really good because I know I'm like that, because I
Mhm.
have to make sure that what I've put in place, I am disciplined within myself about it, because I know that I love helping people, and
Mhm.
I'm a giver. And it's nothing bad about that, but sometimes you have to know when to do it, when to pull back, what timing is right for it, and then not to lose yourself.
Correct.
And I know I've been there, done that so many times, and I be the one that's burnt out. Everyone else is help. My things are taken care of, but at the end of the day, you're not taking care of yourself. And
Correct.
that self-care part of it that's there. And which leads me to my next question. It's like, how does setting and enforcing these boundaries and everything, creates a healthy lifestyle?
That's another great question. So, boundaries really help you maintain your integrity and your values. So, by going through this 3-step process, you are letting people know what you will tolerate or not. And you really have to be consistent, like you're saying, to prevent that burnout, that stress and overwhelm that
Right.
you can create in your life. And it can also create resentment for the
Mm.
person that's making the request, because sometimes you say yes when in fact it's not good for your self-care or for the situation or the person that's making the request.
Yeah.
So it's really important to ask yourself specifically, um, would you like to go through the 3-step process? I think that will help your audience understand why boundaries are so important.
Yeah.
The first step in setting a boundary is that you if somebody asks you, let's say a grandchild or a daughter asks you to babysit,
Mm.
you can say, "Thank you for making that request. Let me get back to you."
Mhm.
And then in the second step, you're going to ask yourself 3 questions. Do I want to? Do I
Mhm.
have the time, energy, and money to do it? And do I want to give it?
Mm.
If you answer yes to all 3 questions, that's great. Then you set the commitment and the consequences for that. So you can go back to your daughter and say, "Yes, I can babysit the children, grandchildren for your date night with your husband if the children are fed, they're bathed, and they're ready to go to bed, and that
Mm.
you come back at midnight." So
Yeah.
that's fine. If you say no to any one of those 3 questions, then
Mhm.
the answer is no. That's it.
That's it.
No. If you're saying yes after those 3 questions, then you also have to negotiate consequences with your daughter. For example, if you don't have the children fed, bathed, and you're not home by midnight, then I won't babysit for you for the next 3 months. And your daughter needs to negotiate those consequences so that she knows what to expect from you as you comply to her request.
Yeah.
So you have to do that 3 times in a row in order to solidify that boundary with the other person and their request. If you do it 2 times in a row and then you kind of give in on the third request, you have to start all over again and do it 3 more times in a row to allow that person and the universe and yourself to know that you have made a line in the sand. And that's what you need for the self-care for yourself to avoid that overwhelm, burnout, and stress that you have in your life.
Yeah. That's really good. That's really good. And I love that the fact that you use, that example with parents and kids, because sometimes, and especially grown kids. Now,
Mhm.
I know with my daughter, if I came back to her and say, look, no, I can't do it. I'm gonna get some lashback, like, oh, wait a minute, like you're a mom, you're supposed to be here
Right.
for me. And so, once we do that the 3-step process and we think it through and we think it out, what would be when there is some type of, come back with it, what is the better response of, still maintaining relationship, but then also still maintaining self-care at that moment for that decision?
I would say that no is a complete sentence. You don't have to justify yourself. You
Mm,
can say, thank you. I understand that you're upset. I'm unable to help you at this time, and just walk away
that's good. That's good. Yeah. Because
because
I
you
know
will need to take care of yourself.
that's true. That's true. And that's why I was thinking, but this example is so good because as women entrepreneurs, we are, and some of us are parents, and we still have to balance out all of that time that we have and still know that we have enough left in us as well. And it's one thing when you have like smaller children, and hopefully in some case you have that support system there to help you with that. But then when you do have children who are grown and they're raised, they're out, but you still want to have that balance, but you still know that, okay, I still have to care for me too. And not to feel, like I said, not to feel bad about saying the no. But even if there is, say, okay, well, I can't do it this time. But if there's something that can be rescheduled, or they can look at their schedule, you could look at yours, like how you could still come to that happy balance that you're taking care of just as much as you taking care of someone else. And I love the way that you've placed it in this way that you're allowing people to give themselves time to think and not to have to make that quick decision based on what the need is. And some people are quick to do that too. And I know I've seen a lot of people be like that.
Well, exactly. And if you do make that knee-jerk reaction to say yes, whether to your family or to a project at work, for example, it can really start leading to resentment.
Mm,
And I feel that resentment really holds you back, and it really from fulfilling your dreams and your purpose in life.
mhm,
So in order to avoid and become the person that you want to be, you need to show up in your best and authentic self. And the way to do that is to set boundaries and
mhm.
explain you, and so that you can accomplish your goals without having to justify why you're saying no.
Yeah.
It's a complete sentence. And, if it's a work situation and they're asking you to do another project, you
Mhm,
can ask the boss to either have one of your assignments given to another colleague, or
mhm.
if you can do that project as a collaborative effort,
Yeah.
some way to let people know that you do have limits and you want to take self-care because you want to give your best, and you
Mhm.
can't fill your cup and you can't live the life that you want by stretching yourself and saying yes all the time to every request, every demand that people make, because you're really sabotaging yourself.
Wonderful.
And yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for that, and really bringing this to the table with setting in for some boundaries, because it's something that we all need, and it's not a bad thing. And I just want to tell everybody out there, you know, still do the inner work that you need. Take the time, listen to the 3 steps that Mary has provided, and step back for a second before you actually give an answer. Or even if you're working, you could be an entrepreneur who's working as well. Yeah, and that right there is a great example, because you have 2 plates that you're managing. You have your business as well as the responsibilities on your job, and a busy day at work and a busy day within your business can still be overwhelming. So do things in a way that keeps the peace, show you as a team player on your job, but also, like you said, look for collaborative efforts, see if how you can bring other team members in, be a team player, and then you can have more time with yourself to add to your business. Because, when a lot of times things can go short in your business because you're overwhelmed and burnt out with so many other things. So we want to have that balance. And thank you, Mary. Any final words of wisdom you'd like to give the audience?
Yes, I would like to offer my 2 offers for your audience today. And one of them is just understanding and setting those boundaries. There's like 7 different areas where you can set boundaries. And the
Mhm.
second one is actually going through that 3-step process to remind you how you can understand where you can set boundaries in terms of your physical, sexual, emotional, spiritual,
Mhm.
financial, your time, and your non-negotiables, so that you are really aligning with your values and who you want to be and how you show up every day. And the second lead magnet or offer is really to show people how to go through that 3-step process and to do it more effectively, and just to have it as a reminder of how to go through setting boundaries more effectively and efficiently.
Awesome. And everyone, we will have those links provided in the chat for you guys. Remember to join the event app, download that. I put that in the chat. I'll put that in the chat again for everyone. Make sure you do that, because you'll find these links all there in that app, as well as some other amazing offers and free services. So make sure you do that. Mary, thank you so much for joining us here today. I've been truly enlightened, and I know the audience have too. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sasha, for having me here today. I really have enjoyed being on your summit. Thank you.